Hurts in week one, kind of while people are still feeling that offseason stink, right? The Deshaun Watson stink, they trade for Gardner Minshew. I actually think week one looks like a huge buy spot.
Let's talk about Jalen Hurts, though, Davis, because he's one of those guys that this offseason I was pretty overweight on. I was pretty scared at times with the Deshaun Watson, scares across a couple different teams. But how have you been approaching Jalen Hurts? And then in week one, Jalen Hurts is like that kind of prototypical the guy that we want to play that has the rushing ability, but he's really not that expensive either. 7,600 on FanDuel against Atlanta. Hopefully we get some pace up in that game also. But what are you doing with Hurts this week?
Yeah, not expensive on FanDuel, and he actually fits their scoring system perfectly because you don't have to worry about, in years past, passing quarterbacks on sites that offer bonuses have been able to really keep up, right? So Drew Brees with his 303 game could actually match Lamar, could match Kyler, but on FanDuel, rushing yards are a big deal. 60 rushing yards is huge on FanDuel, and I do admit, and I'm ashamed of this now, I did get scared off by this Deshaun Watson stuff, which in retrospect, huge mistake. I should have been buying that dip the entire time. Jalen Hurts is, I think pretty obviously going to end up being one of the biggest win rate quarterbacks in best ball because, the guy can, he's not a scrambler, dude. That guy is a runner, and he is going to be, lowering his shoulder into guys. He is going to be so good. And I also think he's a better passer than people give him credit for. And people do this with Lamar, too, where they really over-exaggerate the poor throws that they make. And Hurts will make some throws that make you be like, dude, what are you doing? That was so bad. But he has a stone-cold cannon. And we're talking about the Falcons, right? It's not like he's got this first game against the 49ers. We're talking about the Falcons. This game is on the road. It's indoors. Both of these teams we expect are probably going to play faster than league average. I mean, we definitely think the Falcons are going to throw more than league average. And I mean, Hurts in week one, kind of while people are still feeling that offseason stink, right? The Deshaun Watson stink, they trade for Gardner Minshew. I actually think week one looks like a huge buy spot on Jalen Hurts. Now, our ownership projections are not close to final yet or anything, but we don't have him as one of the 5 most owned quarterbacks. And that just feels like a gigantic buy spot.
Yeah, I love that. And just looking at Run the Sims, kind of even his lower end 50th percent outcome, his floor is just so high, man. He's a top 4 kind of projection guy, even if he doesn't completely get there. And even from a ceiling perspective, you can still probably put him in your top 7, top 8. So if he ends up being super under-owned on this slate, just because like you said, the offseason, people were just kind of off this guy. I like that quite a bit. So we'll have to kind of see how the week progresses for sure. Is there anything, before we get out of here, Davis, that we need to kind of get out of our heads from the offseason, something you've heard a million people talk about, but now that DFS has kind of come around, we kind of need to just get over? You mentioned the Mike Davis stuff. That's going to be a hard one for me, but he's going to project well across the industry in week one. So is there anything that stands out to you? I know it's Monday, and it's a little bit tough to kind of decipher some of this stuff, but I think there's got to be a couple things out there that stand out.
I just think in general, we need to realize that a lot of the things we're talking about for season long and for best ball is how fantasy football is going to look in the playoffs. So, Jamar Chase has this huge breakout, right? And we're starting him in our fantasy football playoffs. Mike Davis is going to be dust in the playoffs, the way Todd Gurley was dust in the playoffs last year. Javonte Williams is going to break out, but he's got to get past Melvin Gordon first to do it. So I think, and that's on my task to do for the rest of today and for tomorrow, is I got to go make all these adjustments back from my season long rates, and I have to project in week one.